Some may ask, what makes Donkey Kong Country 2 such a great platformer? There are hundreds of 2D platformer games out there, and some of them are even good. So give me a quick pitch on what makes DKC 2 one of the best of all time. Bramble Scramble. Situated right in the middle of the game, the second Bramble stage players come across is among the more well-known difficulty spikes in DKC 2. The stage where the Kiddy Kong gloves come off and the barbed claws of the Kremling crew come out. And despite its great challenge compared to what's come before, it is one of the most consistently engaging stages to play, rewarding stages to master, and yes, the perfect example of what Donkey Kong Country 2 is all about. From the word go, Bramble Scramble challenges the player's tactile knowledge of the game's main characters. There's a wall of brambles to the right that requires a full hop to get over, one that leads to free goodies like the first Kong letter, as long as you don't screw it up and waste a hit. To the left is a stretch of bramble that requires a running jump or Dixie's helicopter twirl to get over, followed by a zinger that requires a proper jump toss from a barrel in order to defeat. Simple obstacles as these are, they serve as an important check of if the player's gotten the feel of Diddy and Dixie down, and can be mindlessly blasted through as soon as that confidence is fully formed. Following this is a pair of zingers and a crook that need to be avoided by climbing on a vine past their consistent rhythm. And this introduces the main theme of the level, blasting past patrol routes with a burst of speed. Diddy and Dixie have the most control and carry the least momentum while climbing, able to clamber forward immediately and quickly. So these obstacles provide a great control group for the level ahead. Next, players can simply dash forward past this beetle, or they can climb a little further and notice this invincibility barrel. This requires a team throw to access, once again testing players on their knowledge of the game's unique mechanics. And if they should obtain it, well, they're gonna have to make a mad dash down this path of brambles to use it. What looks like a pit needs to be jumped into, players having to remember that there's no bottomless holes in the great bramble mazes. Always follow the fruit and make their way to the bonus stage. Regardless of which path they take, basic or bonus, players will come face to face with the main attraction of Bramble Scramble, Squawks. Squawks is among the most multifaceted of the Kong's animal buddies, possessing both a projectile in his egg shot and the ability to fly infinitely by flapping his wings. However, considering he's surrounded by deadly brambles, Squawks' wings are severely clipped here, not able to fully flex the absolute freedom he holds in the same way that a character like Kirby could. The player is given a nice open area with just a few zingers to test out how Squawks flies, but will quickly be confronted by a hallway of flitters that keep moving forward after spawning, even if the player retreats off screen. This is further complicated by zingers following horizontal patrol routes and crooks tossing their boomerang prosthetics out later on, creating walls for the player to assess, carefully call their shot, and try to make it through. No! All of this while trying to keep a hold on how high Squawks is flying is a tall order for first-time players, assailed from all directions to think of their positioning, knowing that they can make 2 mistakes at most before failing, with no safe ground in sight. The brambles make for a claustrophobic, oppressive environment. So easy to panic and make a mistake, but never an impossible one. Squawks possesses perhaps the most finesse of any playable Donkey Kong Country character, not only carrying momentum strongly and being able to run much faster, but also being able to subtly control his rate of ascent. Every flap with Squawks can be adjusted if the player is holding up or down, giving him a mighty windfall going up or a pitiful flap that can be mashed to maintain altitude while holding down. While you do have to constantly manage where Squawks is flying, you have an equally powerful ability to make him zoom in any direction. You are the apex predator of everywhere the brambles fail to grasp. Additionally, Squawks' unborn child attack travels in an arc, letting him snipe enemies from high above with proper positioning. They even give you some target practice early on with this zinger guarding a DK barrel and an alcove of unnecessary goodies, letting you feel out how the egg bomb travels and where you have to place yourself to make a big shot. Bramble Scramble is littered with zingers and cannons who can be taken out from a distance to make things much easier, often leading to optional rewards by doing so and taking a longer path, rewarding players who either take the time to line up their shots or have mastered it and can no-scope while flying through. Squawks is a character that grows in strength as you grow in confidence, with an untapped potential for speedy clears the less you hesitate and the more comfortable you feel mowing down anything in your path. Also, you could do this. Yeah, the Kongs don't actually count as hurt boxes for Squawks, so if you need a sec, you can just cruise if you gotta. The second half of the stage is mainly a harder redux of the first, the Kongs having another climbing challenge via cannon's firing range, and Squawks having more claustrophobic encounters with zingers. However, before all that, there's this mysterious banana floating on the other side of this bramble wall. While it may seem counterintuitive to jump directly into spikes, Cranky Kong himself does tell you to be brave and go for it. As like he always says,
"The banana is always right."
Harmlessly passing through the deadly vines leads you to a gap only clearable with the roll jump, the most advanced of DKC's techniques. Safeguarding this secret route, and behind it, oh hey Squitter! Yeah, the best boy is here for his own little treasure trove of goodies, testing players at ascending with the spider in an enclosed environment. But while there's no permanent pickups in the main path, if you remember Cranky's words again, there's that little banana off to the side. Pass through, and you get one of the more diabolically hidden hero coins in the game, along with some extra lives if you really want to greed. Squitter lets you break open the brambles even further, and this whole little area serves as a sampler for later bramble stages that will test these skills in a far less forgiving environment. But for now, it's a bit of fun for a player who loves plundering stages for all they're worth, and skips over the cannon section, making for a pretty stress-free alternative. The remainder of the stage throws everything it can at Squawks. Trickier swarms of zingers, mini neckies and cloaks to offer up new challenges, bee clocks. But they're all something a player can handle, making landing on that goal all the more rewarding. Bramble Scramble is a nightmarish stage on a first playthrough, trying to feel comfortable with up to 3 different kinds of controls in an environment that could easily kill you with one false move. But like the best of DKC's stages, the more time you take and the more comfortable you get, the easier it is to glide through. Areas that cause the player to freeze in fear, not wanting to get out of safety and risk being clipped by a bee, are completed without a second thought later on. There's nothing explicitly tricky about Bramble Scramble that makes it such a hard level, no particularly tight timing windows, weird gimmick, or feats of execution required. You and your confidence level is the only thing that makes this stage oppressive. And when you replay the game, this horrible obstacle that might have taken you hours to beat as a kid becomes one of the most fun stages in the game, with some great platforming and 2 incredibly fun animal buddies to play around with. Bramble Scramble is a testament to your mastery of Donkey Kong Country 2. Is filled with secrets to flex your skills with, and has the game's most memorable track to score your ascent to video game heroism with. Bramble Scramble is Donkey Kong Country 2, and it, like the game as a whole, is truly great.